Before you read another word, I need you to do one thing. Hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon right now, because what I'm about to share with you is something I save exclusively for this community, and you do not want to miss what's coming next on this channel. Okay, now let's talk. Have you ever been in the middle of your lowest moment? I mean the kind of low where you're lying in bed staring at the ceiling at 2 in the morning, and your chest feels heavy, and your mind won't stop replaying everything that went wrong, and something inside you, this tiny quiet voice, whispered, "This is the last time. This is the last time you will feel this way." Most people brush that voice off. They think it's wishful thinking. They roll over, pull the covers up, and tell themselves tomorrow will probably be just as hard. But what if I told you that voice wasn't wishful thinking at all? What if that whisper was something far more powerful than you've ever been taught to believe? What if that moment, that exact rock, bottom, tear-stained, exhausted moment, was actually the moment you were chosen? Stay with me, because by the time this video is over, you are going to understand something about your life that most people spend decades never figuring out. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Let's start with something that might sound strange at first. There is a pattern, and I mean a very specific, almost undeniable pattern, in the lives of people who go on to experience extraordinary breakthroughs, deep peace, and what I can only describe as a life that feels like it was designed specifically for them, and that pattern isn't that they had the easiest road. It's actually the complete opposite. The people who end up living the most aligned, the most purposeful, the most genuinely joyful lives are almost always the ones who went through something that should have broken them. Something that by every logical measure probably should have ended them, emotionally, spiritually, sometimes even physically. And yet here they are, here you are, you didn't stumble onto this video by accident. I want you to really sit with that for a second. Out of every video on this platform, out of every scroll and click and distraction available to you right now, something led you here, to this title, to these words. And if you've been going through something, if there's been a season of your life that felt unbearably long, unbearably painful, unbearably confusing, then I want to speak directly to that part of you right now and say, congratulations, not for the suffering, but for surviving it, because it is done. That chapter, that version of the storm you've been walking through, it is closing, and you, whether you fully believe it yet or not, are one of the chosen ones. Now I know that phrase gets thrown around a lot, the chosen one. It sounds like something out of a movie, right? Like there's some cosmic board meeting happening somewhere and a select few names get called. But that's not what I mean, and I want to be very clear about this. Being chosen isn't about being special in the way the world defines special. It's not about being the smartest person in the room or the most talented or the one who had everything figured out from the beginning. In fact, the chosen ones, the real ones, are usually the ones who looked the least chosen for most of their lives. They were overlooked, underestimated. They carried wounds that nobody saw. They smiled in rooms where they were quietly falling apart. They kept going when every reasonable part of them screamed to stop. Sound familiar? That's the signature of a chosen soul. Not perfection, not ease, but an inexplicable, almost stubborn resilience that you yourself probably can't fully explain. You've been through things that you don't even talk about anymore, not because you're ashamed, but because you processed them alone in the dark and came out the other side changed. Quieter, maybe, softer in some ways, but stronger in ways that don't show up on the surface. They show up in how you carry yourself now, in how you respond instead of react, in how you've stopped chasing things that used to feel urgent and started recognizing what actually matters. Here's what nobody tells you about transformation, real transformation, the kind that rewires you from the inside out. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't come with a ceremony or a clear before and after moment that you can point to on a calendar. It happens in the accumulation of hard days. It happens in the prayers you whispered when you weren't sure anyone was listening. It happens in the moments you chose to get up again, even when getting up felt impossible. Every single one of those moments was building something in you. Every single one of those moments was preparing you for where you're going, and where you're going, I need you to hear this, is somewhere you have never been before. Somewhere better than you've allowed yourself to imagine, because here's the thing about chosen ones. They go through the fire not to be destroyed by it, but to be refined by it. There's an old metaphor about gold, how it has to be put into intense heat before the impurities rise to the surface and get removed. The fire doesn't destroy the gold, it purifies it, it makes it more valuable. In every difficult season you've walked through, every relationship that fell apart, every door that closed in your face, every plan that crumbled, every version of yourself that you had to let go of, that was your fire, that was your purification process. And if you're watching this today, it means you made it through. The gold is still here, you are still here. I want to talk about something that I think is deeply important, and it's something that people in pain rarely get to hear, so I'm going to say it plainly. The suffering you experienced was not a punishment. Let me say that again because some of you have been carrying this belief for years, maybe your whole life, and it is quietly destroying your relationship with yourself and with whatever higher power you believe in. The suffering was not a punishment. It was not evidence that you are less than, or unloved, or forgotten, or cursed. It was not the universe rejecting you. It was the universe redirecting you. There is a profound difference between those two things, and the moment you shift from one lens to the other, everything changes. Think about the moments in your life when things fell apart, a relationship ending, a job loss, a health scare, a friendship betrayal, a period of loneliness so deep it felt like you were living behind glass, watching everyone else's life happen in full color while yours was stuck in grayscale. At the time, every single one of those things felt like loss, and they were. I'm not going to minimize your pain by telling you it wasn't real. It was real, it was hard, you were allowed to grieve it. But look at what grew in the space those losses created. Look at who you became because of what you lost. Look at the clarity you carry now that you couldn't have had if everything had gone the way you planned. The closed doors were protecting you, the endings were redirecting you, the silence was preparing you. There's a concept I think about a lot, and it's the idea of divine timing. Now, regardless of your spiritual background, whether you're religious or spiritual or somewhere in between or still figuring it out, I think most people have had at least one experience in their life where something happened at exactly the right moment, where a door opened or a person appeared or a piece of information found you at precisely the time you needed it most. Not a second too early, not a moment too late, right on time. That wasn't coincidence. That was alignment. That was you being moved through a process that has been unfolding far longer than you've been aware of it. And right now, in this season of your life, something is aligning for you that is bigger than anything you've experienced before. The preparation is complete, the test is over, the lesson has been learned, and what's coming next is the reward. Now I know some of you are watching this, and part of you wants to believe that, but another part of you is skeptical. Maybe you've been in this space before, the space of hope, and it didn't work out the way you thought it would. Maybe you've had your heart lifted only to feel it fall again, and now hope itself feels dangerous. I understand that, and I want to honor it rather than dismiss it, because that kind of guarded heart is the result of real experience, real disappointment. But here's what I want to gently offer you. There is a difference between naive hope and grounded faith. Naive hope says everything will be perfect and easy from here. Grounded faith says I don't know exactly what's coming, but I know I am equipped for it, and I know it is good. That second one, that's where you are. That's what all of this has been building toward. Not a life without challenge, but a life where you meet every challenge from a place of deep knowing rather than deep fear. Let's talk about what it actually looks like, when a chosen one steps into their season. Because I think sometimes people have this idea that breakthrough looks like fireworks and celebrations and a dramatic movie moment where everything suddenly makes sense. And sometimes it does look like that, but more often it looks quieter. It looks like waking up one morning and realizing you're not angry anymore about something that used to consume you. It looks like saying no to something that would have pulled you off course and feeling at peace with that decision instead of guilty. It looks like encountering a situation that used to trigger you and noticing that it just doesn't anymore. It looks like a sense of settledness, of okayness, that doesn't depend on everything around you being perfect. That's the real breakthrough, that internal shift that is the miracle. And if you've already been experiencing glimmers of that, those quiet moments of unexpected peace or unexplained clarity, pay attention to them. Those are signals, those are the first signs of a new chapter opening. I also want to talk about the people around you, because this is something that chosen ones often navigate in ways that can feel lonely and confusing. As you step into your next level, as you begin to embody the person that all of this refining has been making you into, not everyone around you is going to understand it. Some people who were in your life during your difficult season may start to feel distant. Some relationships may shift in ways that feel uncomfortable. And it's tempting to shrink yourself in order to maintain those connections, to stay small so that others feel comfortable, to dim your light so that no one feels threatened by it. I'm asking you not to do that. I'm asking you to resist that temptation with everything you have. Because the people who are meant for the next chapter of your life cannot find you if you're still performing the character from the last chapter. Let the old fall away. Trust that what is meant for you will remain, and what is meant for you in this new season will appear. This isn't about abandoning people. It's about being honest about who you are becoming. The most loving thing you can do for yourself and for everyone around you is to show up as the most authentic, most whole, most fully actualized version of yourself. That version is not arrogant, it's not cold, it's deeply compassionate, deeply present, deeply generous. But it is also clear, it knows its worth, it knows its direction, it does not beg for validation or shrink for approval. And it moves through the world with a quiet, unshakable confidence that comes not from ego, but from everything it has survived and everything it now knows. Here is what I want you to take away from this video today, and I want you to carry this with you not just for the next hour, but for the rest of the week, the rest of the month, whenever you feel yourself slipping back into old patterns of fear or doubt or self-questioning. You have been through something real, something hard, something that required more of you than you thought you had, and you made it. Not just barely, you made it in a way that transformed you, in a way that refined you into someone more capable, more wise, more open, more ready than you have ever been before. The season of struggle is done, the season of harvest is beginning, and everything, every prayer, every tear, every moment of quiet endurance, every single one of those things has been counted. None of it was wasted, none of it was overlooked. All of it was working on your behalf, even when it felt like nothing was working at all. You are the chosen one not because life will be easy from here, but because you are now equipped to handle whatever comes with grace, with wisdom, and with a peace that the old version of you couldn't have accessed. The old version of you reacted from fear. The new version of you responds from faith. The old version chased things out of lack. The new version attracts things from wholeness. That shift is everything. That shift is the entire journey, and you are standing on the other side of it right now. So congratulations. Truly, not in the shallow way that word often gets used, but in the deep, reverent, I have witnessed what you've been through kind of way. Congratulations for not giving up when giving up would have been so much easier. Congratulations for choosing yourself even when it was hard and even when no one was watching. Congratulations for being here in this moment, ready to receive what comes next. You will never have to go through that again. That particular fire, that particular valley, that particular version of the struggle, it is done. It is finished, and what is ahead of you is so much more aligned with who you truly are than anything you've had to leave behind. I want you to go into the rest of your day carrying that. Not with arrogance, not with the pressure to perform some upgraded version of yourself, but just with a gentle, settled knowing that something has shifted. Something is different now,